welcome back to Call Your Coven, practical advice for nonsensical times. My name is Bee, my pronouns are she, they, and I'm the resident numerologist.
My name is Jeanna, my pronouns are she, her, and I am the resident astrologer.
And my name is Meg. My pronouns are they, she, and I'm the resident tarot reader.
Woo!
Woo!
And
We
today,
did it.
we did it. We've
That's it,
achieved
right? That's the whole
our
thing.
end of episode. Thank you
Great.
for coming.
Nailed it.
Today we are talking about Hudson Williams' least favorite topic, generative AI.
A king, honestly. Yeah, it's so great. Fuck AI, fucking
Oh
hard.
my God. I was like, B, where are we going with this?
I
It's so
know.
good.
Incredible.
I know. No, it was like the Oscars red carpet, and he was like,
Mhm.
fuck AI to death. And I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, hell yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
say it. Like,
Yeah.
Great. God, we know where you stand.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Also, wasn't it Charlize Theron who just came out with like a registry for performers that you can join, of like that limits the use of your likeness? I forget
Oh.
exactly what but like something that she's rolling out or is partnering with people to roll out is very much an anti-AI licensing image use by actors and performers that has a lot of big people like attaching themselves to it. So
I
the
read Kate Blanchett.
you're right. It's
What?
Kate. See, here's the problem is that in my brain, you're right. It is Kate Blanchett. In my brain, Charlize Theron and Kate Blanchett are just two versions of the same archetype,
Mhm.
which I deeply love.
Blonde
So,
lesbian who's not really a lesbian, but who like should be or something. Like,
yeah, that
yeah.
one. That
Blonde
one.
lesbian icons who might be
Who
heterosexual.
may or may
Yeah,
not be
lesbian
actually queer.
icons
Yeah.
who I
Who
kind
play
of
queer
want to
so
be.
well. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Kate Blanchett. Thank you, B.
Oh my God, of course.
But I
Incredible.
just saw a piece about that and was like, thank God some backlash is here. Like,
Yeah.
Well,
fucking
yeah,
finally.
because on the flip side, there was just a piece, I'll find it. It was in one of the biggies
Mm,
about CAA
yeah.
uh having something called the vault
Mm-hmm.
where you go and get scanned for that likeness,
Hate
and
it.
they're like trying to do it for all their clients. And I want to know like more about that, because if you're signed at CAA, like, do you have leeway to say no thank you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. HarperCollins is using AI generated books, is rolling out AI generated, I can't talk, romance novels now. So that's fun.
Oh,
Um,
well, then I'll just stop writing. It's fine.
Yeah, like great, cool.
I'm like, I'm sorry, a machine could never. And in case you, the listener, can't tell where we stand, we are all very firmly anti-generative AI.
Yeah, if
Um,
you're new here and this is your very first time getting to know us, hello, hi. We don't like AI in this house.
yeah,
Thanks so much.
yeah.
We
And
really
we've
get AI and large language models that like use stolen words and images of people who rarely consent to have their shit stolen to regurgitate it into shit. It's just plagiarism robots, and we're not here
I
for it.
certainly didn't agree to have my book scanned,
Nope,
and
neither did I.
you know, um, yeah, I don't know. I think it's worth also saying that like all of us have, and we can link these in the show notes. All of us have written essays on AI as it intersects with creativity, spirituality, some variation thereof, um, and it continues to come up in our professional lives and also in community spaces that we all run. Notably the discords. I know we've got some anecdotes possibly that we might be there, but it just also I'm back on threads, which is a mistake because threads is horrible. But it is like every day on there. It feels like a new enormous argument is being had about whether you can still be an artist and use AI or still be like spiritual and use AI. Yeah.
Yeah. I actually have not written about it, but we'll link Meg and Gina's.
Noted.
I have just tried to not engage, to be quite
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
turn off AI features. I don't even know how I would chat GPT something. Like,
Same.
famously,
Yeah.
have never done it.
Mm-mm.
And I think one of the reasons why we wanted to have this conversation was because it just continues to roll out,
Yeah.
and everyone across the board, creative or not, is having to grapple with AI usage in the everyday. And, we planned on having this recorded, like we planned on recording this conversation this month, but I think in between the time that we initially said we wanted to do this, and now there was that whole deal with A24, the film studio,
Yeah.
and partnering with OpenAI and Google.
Yeah.
There's been the whole Luca Guadagnino's film about Sam Altman, the founder of OpenAI, getting dropped by Amazon, getting not picked up by all these studios because of their ties to AI, because the
Yeah.
film is critical. And so it just, yeah, continues to be a part of the conversation. And maybe it would be helpful too at the top to kind of say what it is that we say what it is we're against. No, but like,
I have a note about that, Bee, because
Mhm.
it's like generative AI is not assistive AI. Assistive AI has, like, as a language learning model, has been around for like decades at this point, low key. And I've been using assistive AI, as many of us have been, perhaps without realizing it, for a really long time. Like, I use Sonics to transcribe my interviews. I used it when I still had an office job. I use it now when I have like an hour plus long interview with a writer friend for my newsletter. Like, I'm running it through a transcription. Like, speech to text accessibility features are assistive AI. Like, there's a lot that's really helpful with that, with like the early model, like language learning. I'm saying that right. It's language learning models.
I don't know.
I'm
I know that
totally
there
doubting
are a
myself.
lot of tools that have kind of been relabeled to be called AI, like the transcription type services that you're
A
talking about, like
large
things like
language model. It is Mercury retrograde. I cannot fucking talk. I don't know what LLMs are apparently, and I also don't know that it's the difference between Charlize Theron and Kate Blanchett. So
we're doing great. We're doing
this
great.
is not a good conversation for me to not have precision and language available. Mercury help. But yeah, like I don't know. Like, so those kinds of like assistive LLMs, like we're not talking about those. Like, I'm not talking about your speech to text that your grandma uses, you know? I like we're talking about generative chat GPT, give something a prompt and spit out, I don't know, weird images of the president riding a bull, you know, like that is like bullshit art, creative work, people falling in love with chat GPT, you know, all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's how I would describe it. Anyway, I'm curious how you all would describe it.
well, I remembered my hot take from before.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So Meg and Gina reminded me that at some point I had a hot take, and I
I
was
thought you
like,
said it in the July, like, I thought when we said that we were going to do this, I thought you said you had some hot takes. I thought that was in the July forecast, but who
I'm
knows?
sure. I'm positive, but I think this was my hot take. Okay. I recently, and by recently, I mean in the last year, so maybe not so recently, but I read something by a disabled creator who essentially was talking about AI, like anti-AI stances being a psyop in order to keep certain communities from using it, which means that way later on, when AI writes our history books, certain communities will not be a part of that because we will have been told to not trust it, to hate it. And so it was, I know, I see
Those are
your
a
face.
lot of logic leaps right there. That's there's a lot of Swiss cheese in that.
That sounds like a psyop to me.
I know, right? I know, right?
Yeah.
I think that the point of the essay was less about we should all be using AI and
Mm.
more about disabled people using AI to their advantage to do
Mm.
things that they struggle with or are not able to do. And I did feel like there were some really interesting and even valid points made. But
Mm.
that's another reason why I wanted us to talk about
Yeah.
what exactly it is that we're speaking about, because again, there's assistive AI and a lot of relabeling of technology as AI.
Yeah.
And then there's what we're talking about, which is generative AI for creativity and spirituality, which I have some thoughts on that. I
Same.
was recently sent an article about tarot readers sticking prompts and cards and such into AI and like asking for interpretations. And yeah, finding both, I guess, benefit and, well, benefit in large quotation marks. Um, but yeah, I was like, oh, this doesn't feel good.
It doesn't feel good at all. And that's part of
No.
what I wrote an essay pretty recently about this exact topic, about people using ChatGPT and Claude and whoever, I don't know what the other fucking things are, but like these kinds of like, yeah, LLMs and like chatbots and things that you can plug a prompt into and basically be like, explain this to me or write me an interpretation of this or give me a reading like using the spread and these cards tell me what it means, right? Basically outsourcing your interpretive work to the chatbot and allowing the chatbot to serve as your tarot reader, which like there's so much wrong with that just on a logical place that I hardly know even where to start. But I think that it's worth noting that if you're doing that, the answers that you're going to get are going to be an amalgamation of tarot readers like myself who write things on the internet, who write books, who do podcasts. Anytime we have created content out there where we're talking about using certain cards or how we interpret certain cards, what you're getting is just a mishmash of all of those people.
Yeah.
So you are going to get information from someone like Rachel Pollack, but you could also just buy her books, right?
Yeah.
But you're getting these kinds of smushed up ideas. But it means you're also going to get like the people on Reddit who don't know what a card means, or you're going to get other AI chatbots that have shared their stuff in like Google search history amalgamations of stolen shit, and it's just like the same kind of garbage being repeated and repackaged again and again until it means almost nothing. So that's the first problem. Yeah, I think, you can always just buy a fucking book and actually get the information from the source from a person. But I think the real problem that I have, among other things, but one of the main real problems that I have with using AI and like AI chatbots to interpret card readings for you is that the process of reading cards and the engagement and the struggle and the discomfort and the uncertainty of actually wrestling with your cards to figure out what they are trying to communicate with you is the reading. Like the answer that you might walk away from a tarot reading with can be a product that you get out of or a benefit that you might receive from the process of reading, but the value of a tarot reading is the process of the reading. And AI is really designed to spit out a finished product with no conflict and no tension and no struggle. And so when you skip the hard part of the tarot reading, you literally lose all the benefits of the reading itself, and you're just prioritizing the answer. And I think that misses the point in large part of what tarot is for generally.
You're not integrating any of it somatically. You're not processing any of it intellectually. It's like looking at a friend's paper for a test. You don't actually retain, like you didn't study. You didn't integrate it into your process, into your body. You didn't like review it. You didn't really sit with it. And that knowledge isn't going to stick. It's only ever going to be a performance that relies upon itself and that reifies like the artifice through the process of creating the artifice. Like you essentially become a megaphone speaker for whatever Jeff Bezos deems admissible in an AI thing. And I'm like, the number of people who are like on the left, etc., being like, oh my God, fuck billionaires, we hate Jeff Bezos, but then they're out here using, I'm like, you do understand that AI is the technology that that particular elite class has invested in to make our labor irrelevant. You do know that this is like a climate change apocalypse technology. Like they're trying to prevent the uprising against them when catastrophe comes. Like this, it's just wild to me. Yeah. And my other, B, if you have something to add on with Meg, I don't want to circumvent that.
I do only in the uncertainty piece, but if we can always come back around to that.
Yeah, I can always talk more about uncertainty, so I'm happy to like put a pin in that.
Yeah.
No, I was just going to say, I think whether it's looking to ChatGPT or what have you for a tarot reading, or to write your paper for college, or to like jumpstart a novel project that you're not actually going to write, like whatever you're looking to it for, that just makes me be like, have you like what do you a person, let's actually narrow that down with like spirituality stuff, right? I'm like, where do you think spirit comes from? What do you think spirit is? How do you think it works? How do you think intuition works? Because the chat GPT of it all tells me that there is no animistic understanding of the world as inspirited, like remotely. It's like I can look to the machine for the instant gratification answer rather than sitting with like spirit in relationship and really, you know, thinking it through, integrating it, processing it, doing all of that uncertainty work that y'all are talking about. But when folks in the spiritual community, because Meg and I have we all have very anti-generative AI stances in our discords, and there are people who have left our discords because they like AI more than they like being in community with real people. And that's on free will. That's on them. But I'm always so struck because I'm like, wait, how were you in here to begin with? We have we have a vastly different understanding of what it is to be human if you are outsourcing your intuition to a fucking machine from the Matrix. Like, yeah, so it makes me wonder, like, what do people think spirit is? When they say they're spiritual, what the fuck do they mean by that? Like, because if you're gonna, you know what does that make sense? Like,
Yeah, of course. I mean, spiritually, I feel very aligned with some of parts of Gnosticism, and I mean, the word Gnostic, to
yeah.
know, is not a just a mental knowledge. It
Mm,
is a experiential knowledge. It
mm,
is saying, I have experienced whatever it is, and therefore I believe, or
mm,
this is the philosophy that grounds my life because I have experienced enough personally to align myself with this perspective or point of view. And I think that even if you're like, okay, I don't vibe with that, with Gnosticism as a philosophy, I think that that root belief of like,
mm,
I have to experience something in order to be able to then root myself in it or live from that place can be a broad it can be like applied broadly. And so much of AI takes the experiential part out of the equation. I mean, that's what Meg was talking about with the tarot reading. That's what you're talking about with writing books. Like, if you are not engaging in the process of something, then are not having the experience. You are outsourcing not only your intuition, but your experiences to this machine. And sure, maybe you could say, like, well, I don't have that much time, or I do, there are all of these excuses as to why you might want to do that. But I do think that there is something that about the whole concept that then places the importance on the product instead of the process. And to me, that's just more capitalism in a nutshell. Like, it's just a furthering of capitalism, and it takes
mm.
the craft out of whatever your craft is. Like, you're not doing it anymore if you're letting a
Yeah,
computer do it for you.
yeah.
Yeah, well, and it's that whole thing of people being like, "No, I am a writer. I used AI, but I am a writer." And I'm like, "No, you're not though. If you used AI, then you let AI do the writing in the hugest air quotes for you. You know what I mean? Like you didn't participate in the writing because you didn't do the writing. Like it's the same thing with a tarot reader. Like if you pulled a card and you plugged the card into ChatGPT and asked it to tell you what it means, and then you take that as your own answer, if I guess you can do that. If you want to do that with your one wild and precious life, if that's how you choose to spend your time, okay. I don't know what you're doing here, but okay. But like you're not doing a tarot reading. Like, the tarot reading is not the act of pulling the card, it's the act of interpreting the card. It's the act of having the conversation with the card and figuring out how that applies to your life and how it answers the question. Like, that's what the tarot reading is. It's not just the act of finding a card and like physically pulling it. You can do tarot readings without a tarot deck, like, but you can't do the tarot reading yourself and outsource the reading part to something else and still claim to be a tarot reader. I feel like it's like people wanting to be able to say, I'm a writer, or I'm a musician, or I'm a tarot reader, or I'm a poet, or whatever it is, without actually doing the thing to become that thing.
Yeah. It makes me think of in fan spaces, there used to be this, I'm sure there still is, but like this huge debate with fan artists
Mm.
about who are making digital art, which is like a totally valid way to make art. Like
Yeah.
using, we're not, nobody's shitting on technology here. As a
No.
whole, obviously, we're using technology.
Audiobooks are reading, digital art is still art, like,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Like that's not where I'm coming from. But it's really fascinating. There used to be this huge debate over whether tracing or like, are you drawing things by hand? Are you tracing photographs? And how people are like, tracing is not, which again, this is all fan art that everyone's doing for fun. So I think the whole conversation is a little gatekeepy, but it's
Yeah.
like, people used to shit on people who traced. Now we're having people making whole things that they like didn't even have a hand in making anything. They just wrote, character names and body positions into ChatGPT and like it spit out art for them. And I'm like, wow, justice for tracers everywhere.
Yeah, truly.
I mean, ideas are cheap, being so real. An idea
Yeah.
for a book is not a book. An idea
Yeah.
for art is not art.
Mm-mm.
Like, and ChatGPT empowers, I mean, using that as like shorthand for all of the models that do this. It frankly, and this is the part of me that is so ambitious and so competitive and that has worked so hard to get to where I am, and where I am is like one step on the mountain career-wise right now. I'm like, these asshats wannabe loser people, I'm gonna be so real, like, want to say that they've, as you're saying, like, they want to say they've done the thing without actually having done the thing. They want ironically, like, and then them doing that, ironically diminishes any cachet, prestige, any respect for the profession, because it's like, oh, but you just had an idea and you put it in. Again, I'm like, who gives a fuck about an idea? Like, I have 10 new ideas every day. The difference is the one that you stick with and actually execute on, which is half of what I'm ever telling my writing people. I just get I think because to me, I am very classically type A, very classically hardworking, and like, also, how dare they make us defend hard work? How dare these people make us defend,
How dare they
like,
make us sound like fucking Puritans? Like,
how dare they make us sound like Puritans? But the process, you need to work hard. Like, how fucking,
work ethic. Like,
how
Jesus
dare
God.
they make me be out here on Maine defending like the fucking puritanical bullshit we were raised with?
Seriously.
That's so rude. But I'm like, but there is something to it. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think because we all know the feeling of satisfaction
yeah,
when something is earned or worked
yeah,
for or achieved. Like there
yeah.
is a sense of satisfaction. And I don't know, maybe this is like a question for the audience. If you're listening to this and you're like, I use generative AI to make this thing and I felt very satisfied at the end of it, like come talk to me about it because I want to know how that experience was for
Yeah.
you. But like, I don't know how I can't see that feeling being a
Hmm.
natural part of that
Yeah.
process if the work is taken out of it.
Hmm. Yeah, like when you're in flow and time disappears and you start, I mean, I'm using writing because I'm a writer, but like you're like, or I'm writing something and I have no idea where it's coming from. And I'm like, that was a high, that was a trip, and I'm sober, but like, oh my God, I don't know where that dropped in. Like, that is the high that I'm always chasing. And I just don't, I agree with you, B. I'm like, I just don't think you get that if you're not, to your point earlier, like having the experience that makes space and time for that satisfaction, that high, that flow state to unveil itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine being satisfied by that
Yeah.
really. Like I think about I'm not a visual artist in that I can't like draw, but I am a photographer. And like the moment when you take a photo that you know is good before you even and I mean with digital it's the satisfaction comes so much faster, right? With film you're like
Yeah.
I think that was good. I will find out in a few days or in a few weeks if it was actually what I think it was. But with digital, you get that a little faster because you can actually look at the back of your camera and see what it was. But like, you know, in those moments, even if you've taken like 100 photos of the same thing, when you get the exact right angle and the light hits exactly where you want it to, and or like someone's moving and you capture the perfect expression on their face, like, you know, when that happens. And there's just like, that's not something you can replicate by asking a fucking chatbot thing to like make a beautiful photo for you. It's just not the same as like actually making it yourself and knowing that you created it and that you were the one who was in that exact place and position with the right tool and the right knowledge to make that moment happen and capture that moment so perfectly and that it will never happen again. Like there's just something really special about that. And I think using AI, I'm like, why would you want to miss that part? That's like the best part. Like, why would you want to skip that part of the process? That's the whole reason we're doing the thing.
And it's interesting because I love that you bring up the photography, Meg, because some people who I have seen in academia defending AI, they're like, well, photography used to be very much like like a criticized, like lowbrow, because it's like you're capturing a scene, but you're not like painting it on oil canvas. Like photography was like the source of crisis in the 20s and 30s that prompted Benjamin to write the work of art in the age of mechanical reproduction. And I have not, to be fair, I've read that essay a lot. I have not read it recently, so I'm a little rusty on specifics. I don't have like lines to pull, but in anticipation of our conversation, I was thinking a lot about his critique and like his wrestling with what makes a work of art authentic. And of course, he's wrestling with it around like the issues around photography and what have you. But I think I'm like, when I hear these, contemporary academics talking about like, well, Benjamin didn't like photography and now we have AI and that's the same thing. I'm like, no, it's not. It is like
Super not.
it's apples and oranges. It is in no way the same thing. Like technological developments in art make like my tattoo artist draws on an iPad.
Yeah.
Like she's not shortcutting herself just because she's not drawing a like pencil and paper old school stencil. Like she's, I don't know, like the use of technology is very, very different from like the artificial creation, like the synthesis of existing work by people and then like shooting it out as an us, which is also so interesting because it's like American culture especially is so obsessed with copyright law and like who owns what and that everything has to be unique. And then they've like scraped all of these copyrighted works to give people they're like, oh, AI writes so much better than me. Yeah, bitch, because it learned on us. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just find it very interesting. Like, I'm like, even like HarperCollins, like having these AI written like romances, I'm like, how are you going to copyright something that steals from authors who you published and copy?
So
Just
weird.
logically make it make sense. Like,
Yeah.
I know. I know. Well, and going back to the mystery and the uncertainty, the topics that we love, right? The things, our special interests
mhm.
are completely, like completely intersect with the unknown and
Mhm.
uncertainty and
Yeah.
mystery and questions and wondering and all of these things that really are the antithesis of generative AI or any kind of AI chatbot. And there's so much about uncertainty that leads to feelings we don't like and being uncomfortable. And so I do absolutely see how this is just another thing that we're turning to for answers because the truth is we live in an uncertain world and this is offering certainty. And I think that's also why people do turn to spirituality and religion, which are mystery practices, yet they do claim to be providing some kind of answer. And so that's why I said, like, the Gnostic framework is useful even if you don't dig Gnosticism. And that's kind of, how I feel about a lot of things. But like, yeah, there's something very, I don't want to use the word numbing. I don't think that's correct, but there is like,
Soothing or
yeah, there's just something that
yeah.
I understand why seeking people would seek answers or certainty from something that appears to have all the answers.
Ironically, it's really avoidant. Like,
Ironically, it's really bad. I mean, I will just, that's why when you said like maybe AI writes better than me, I'm like, does it? Like, does it
but I
actually?
see those people on the internet
People
every
say it does.
day.
I
And I'm
know.
like, do you understand how it works? No, they don't.
No.
And also they don't write. Like they're clearly people that don't actually write. And so they're like, well, if I can come up with half of an idea, AI will fill in the blanks for me so I don't have to think either.
Yeah.
And so then what they see is probably beyond what they could do, which doesn't make it necessarily good, but it's like, well, yeah, if you're doing something you never do and you don't prioritize or think is important enough to bother doing yourself, then anything you don't have to do is going to feel better than what you could do.
Mm.
But
Can I ask, B, given that you're in grad school, like around the whole
oh yeah.
sitting with uncertainty, like how is
Really?
Gen AI getting treated in your program? Or I don't want to like put you on the spot with that,
No,
but
no,
like,
no. I'm happy to talk about this. So,
yeah.
my school has a strict no AI policy,
Mhm.
no AI use in classes, even for research purposes.
Good.
Like
Yeah.
they want you to be searching library catalogs like the
Good.
rest of, history,
Mhm.
technological history. And so there is a strict no AI policy, and yet I have been in so many rooms where either the teacher is talking about AI or like we're being trained in services, AI services that are HIPAA compliant that can like take notes and stuff during a session, and like what are the ethics
Yeah.
of that, of like using more assistive AI tools.
Mhm.
So again, there's a little bit of a delineation between more assistive conversations and generative conversations.
Yeah.
But I was in a class where a classmate of mine said that they were using ChatGPT to play the client and role playing
Oh wow.
therapeutic situations. And
Hmm.
With a
I,
machine.
With the
with
machine.
a machine. And it was really interesting because the take that you usually hear is people using the AI as the therapist, not
Yeah.
the client. So I was like, huh, this is fascinating.
Mhm.
But in my mind, I don't know how much you're actually learning. You're not having
Yeah.
an authentic
Yeah.
experience, and you're not going to be able to replicate that. And it's so different to talk to a computer than it is to be in a room with a human being.
Yeah.
So it's very funky. I mean, I I always hesitate just as a person to kind of deem something all bad. And that's why, that's why I was like, maybe I have hot takes. Maybe we need to delineate between assistive and
Yeah.
generative,
For sure.
or things that have been called AI that are just technology, like how do we even define that anymore?
Yeah, it's so hard to
Um,
delineate now.
it
Yeah.
is. So again, I have to go through my experience, but it didn't. Uh, I'm trusting my feelings because that's like what is happening in my physical body, which is like
Yeah.
not the machine. But like,
Yeah.
it did not feel good to hear that person say,
Yeah.
I'm practicing therapy with this computer,
Yeah.
any more than it feels good to hear somebody say that they're using a computer to be their therapist,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is also awful.
Yeah.
So, yeah, even though there's a policy in place, it's definitely still coming up.
Yeah.
And also, I had a classmate be like, well, all these discussion boards are just AI talking to AI. And I was like, oh, you think? Like, really kind of naively giving everyone like the benefit of the doubt and being like, and my friends were like, oh, definitely. Like, you can tell when you're reading something that someone didn't write. And you kind of can, especially in the way that sentences are structured to summarize
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
continue. Like, yeah, yeah. And that's the other thing too. I don't know that I'm well versed in spotting it, and I think it's only going to get worse as it goes on. Like,
I was reading something literally a couple hours ago, and it was somebody talking about they were like, I'm not always very good at spotting when something is AI. And I used to feel really bad about that because it felt like it was super obvious. And then I remembered that the whole point of this technology is to steal from and then mimic human expression and human made things. And it's
Yeah.
only going to keep getting better as more people keep using it and training it. And so it's like, at some point, like, it's not actually my fault that I am getting fooled by the computer whose entire job is to fool people.
yeah,
It still feels bad, but it's also like, no, that's literally what the technology was designed to do. And it's
Yeah.
ripping off our shit in order to learn how to do it. So, like,
Yeah.
yeah, it is going to continue to get harder and harder to find what's real versus what's not. And I think that's really shitty and gross.
I mean,
yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah, a business coach who Meg and I both work with recently talked publicly about because she does like meditations that she will like she does like ritual work that she has like DJ'd playlists that she goes through. Like she is taking DJ classes, which I think is very
Oh my
charming.
God, that's so cute. I didn't know that.
It's so cute. But recently in one, and I thought that because that's the thing, it's like sometimes you're a public person doing work people pay for, and and you have this policy, but you accidentally still put it. And one of the songs on one of her playlists, apparently, and she was like, I didn't know this, was an AI artist on Spotify, and the rectification for that was like sending out an email to apologize, but also she on her podcast, we should link it, it's Rachel Maddox, who I just adore her.
Yeah.
And she had some musician like clients come on to talk about AI in the music industry, because one of them was the one who like told her, like, who
Yeah.
clocked it, of course, and who was like, and of course it took me out because like I was
Yeah.
having this profound spiritual experience, and then like I'm a musician, I know my industry, I know what it sounds like, and I was like, oh my God, I know she doesn't know. And I think that also, especially as like the deep fakes are continuing to improve, because people
Yeah.
are, I'm like, if it's free, you are the product. It's true on Threads and Blue Sky and Instagram, and it's true on ChatGPT. Like you are the product, you are training it.
Yeah.
Um, and I just appreciated the way that she modeled, like, I didn't know,
Yeah.
my bad.
Yeah.
Gonna bring in someone to also give you clues. It's like, oh, if someone has a million out, so now I'm going on Spotify, like, because I do still have Spotify. Like, I'm like, I can only, not even worth getting into.
Yeah.
Not even worth getting into. Like, where to go? Apple, Tidal, like, everyone's a billionaire.
It's terrible. It's all bad.
It's all bad. But on Spotify now, when like, because I listen to a lot of vibey playlists for my writing, I'm like checking. And I'm like, oh, is this artist like new to 2025, 2026? That's the other thing that they said on the podcast. They were like, people who have like, or, people, quote unquote, who have like 20 albums out, but it's only in the last like 18 months, that's AI. And yeah, I thought it was a really good representation of, like you said, like, sometimes I'm going to read it and I'm not going to clock it. Sometimes I'm going to hear it and I'm not going to clock
Yeah.
it. But like, all we can do is to just own it, share what we know with our
100%.
audience,
Yeah.
and hopefully be given some grace sometimes. Like, I don't know, it only increased like my respect for Rachel as it is that she so publicly addressed it and like took pains to, do that.
Reason why I said that I'm always hesitant to throw anything out by whole,
Yeah.
because first of all, I just believe in composting as a concept, and
Yeah.
also I feel like mob mentality goes in all directions. And
Mm,
so at some point, like Gina, you're saying, if we're all in this brave new world together and we make a mistake, we also like cancel culture is not restorative justice. And
Yeah.
so that's not ultimately what we're striving for from a values-based place anyway. Like we need to be able to make mistakes and to have these kinds of conversations and to say, yo, I really got tricked. Like, and it
right.
doesn't feel good and it's uncomfortable,
Yeah.
but that is living in your values and to say, to be transparent about that process. And so I really, really hate that it has become a values-based thing. And obviously like everything is in the same way that they say everything is political, but we really are having a values conversation at large when we're talking about AI. And I
Yeah.
think that gets really tricky because we're also experiencing a total integration at work. And I have so many friends that are like, I have to use it for my job or
Same.
I won't have a job.
Yeah.
And so every day at work, I'm now like, I don't agree with this, but here I go for my grocery money, so
Yeah.
that I can
Yeah.
have my income. Like,
Yeah.
here I do this thing. And I think that's really fucked too,
Yeah.
to
Super.
be
Yeah.
yeah, to be in a position, and it's not the same thing as like being a member of ICE, and now all of a sudden we're
Nowhere
like,
close.
Yeah.
but
No.
that's what it gets tricky for me, and it has to be, it's like
These,
it has to be both a blanket policy and a nuanced conversation at the same
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel very comfortable being very black and white when it comes to artists and writers because no one has to write a novel.
Yeah,
No
for
one
sure.
has to make a film. You don't have to do those things. Our 9 to 5 friends who are having like AI shoved down their throat for their new systems at work, like that is, to my mind, that is I mean, obviously it's still under the umbrella generally, but
Yeah,
that's a very different conversation from someone independent of their own free with their one wild and precious life and free will, they are choosing to give their ideas to a machine. That is
yeah.
just to me, I think. But I appreciate you making that delineation
Me
because
too. Because I agree with you. I mean, we know too many people that are like, my job is not really giving me a choice, and the job
Yeah,
market sucks. Like, and that's not necessarily something that most people are in a position to just like quit over and then find
yeah,
another job. Like, we're just
right.
not in that kind of economy where people
no,
can necessarily like do something like that.
yeah,
Well, and a whole nother conversation too is how AI has totally fucked the job market
Oh my
because
God,
now it's
absolutely fucked
AI
it.
resumes being funneled through AI systems and like there are no human beings doing
Yeah.
any part of the process
yeah.
anymore.
Yeah,
I
that's
do think
awful.
that bubble is starting to burst because, they did the bullshit well, because I'm seeing some increasing like numbers of companies like rolling back their AI use because they're getting charged for it now. Because it's what all of the fucking, this is why what the reason it got so fucking populated in the first place was because it was the startup model.
Right.
Like OpenAI, etc., they gave like starter packages for pennies to all of these major corporations who were like, we're going to downsize and we're going to do this. But now, like, and the industry, like, famously at this point is losing money hand over fist.
Right.
Like, this, it's such a money sink. And so they've started to raise their corporate rate packages. And it turns out people are cheaper because the machines can't actually do the jobs. And then you have to have a person check the thing. And by the time you've got the thing done, you may as well have kept that person who you fucking laid off.
It's truly just adding another layer of bullshit to
Yeah.
a process,
Yeah.
and then people have to fix the errors and find the
Yes.
errors.
Yeah.
It's so
But I
stupid.
am like so heartened that like it's
Yeah.
still for all that I think we're also seeing like so many fucking celebrities out here
Mhm.
stumping for it, like
Ugh.
for it and
The
being
fucking
like
meta
AI's
glasses and stuff. Like, there's just
like
some
if
weird
I
shit out
hear
there.
one more celebrity say AI is the future, I'm like, fuck all the way off.
Yeah.
Like, no, it like treating it like I think that's the other thing actually that really bothers me about the AI propaganda is how fatalistic it feels. It like people adopting it feels very nihilistic, very fatalistic, and very like, well, we don't have a choice. The robots are coming. And I'm like, we don't have to. This is what is it again? Like compliance, not unnecessary compliance, like
Yes.
preemptive. This is
Yeah.
like preemptive compliance
Yeah.
with the determined outcome that tech billionaires want. Why
100%.
are we doing this? Like, obviously, being forced by your job, that is one thing. But, like, in your own life, I'm like, you don't have to do that, actually. Like, who's telling you it's the future? Do you actually, would you trust that person for anything else in your life? Would you
Yeah,
trust Kylie Jenner for anything in your life? Like, Reese Witherspoon is out here doing it with her fucking book club. Like, Jesus
I
Christ.
know.
Yeah,
Well, and the glasses too, and not to move too far in a different direction, but like
all the
the,
same. Yeah.
it's that the argument against those that I find the most interesting and kind of pertinent is that that takes away all privacy in public spaces.
Yeah.
100%.
And
Yep.
you, like, from a filmmaker standpoint, legally, you must post if you are going to be filming somewhere with a disclaimer that people can see that essentially is blanket consent to be on camera should you capture them. And having consent in photography, in film, in public, I'm going to walk down the street and not have my picture taken. Paparazzi is a whole different thing, but like there is an element of like legal right to privacy that if somebody's wearing glasses that take pictures and video and they don't have to tell you about it, that's a completely different shift. Like that's a whole shift in
Yeah.
terms of legal right to privacy
Mhm.
that people are not consenting
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
those to having their picture taken or having their video like yeah, I don't know. It's kind of bonkers what we so easily just hand over
Mhm.
Yeah.
as people.
Yeah, I mean I've been part of the reason that I kind of link those things together in my head is because I think that I don't think I know. I've seen a number of think pieces. I feel like over the last year or something about how the language around AI adoption and you must do this and there is no, there is no world where AI doesn't exist. You have to. I've seen a number of pieces. I feel like over the last year or something, and maybe y'all have seen it too, but people comparing the language that's used around like adopt or die. You have no choice. You must use this tool being compared to like kind of the language of rape culture and like how it's so removal of consent and it's so like separate from like there is no privacy, there is no consent, you have to use this whether you like it or not, we're going to make you use it even if you don't want to, like, and how the language of that is so steeped in some of the language that we see around rape culture, and so it all does feel very tangled up in my head, and I'll find some of those pieces and we'll put them in the show notes if that's something you're interested in. But it was people talking about like, why am I so uncomfortable when I hear tech bros saying this? And it's because it's the same kind of language of like, I don't care if you don't like it, you're going to use it anyway. I don't care if you don't want it here, we're putting it in anyway. Like, even the way every time I open up a goddamn PDF in Adobe, there's like 4 different AI tools that show up every time. And I'm like, I don't want you to summarize the document. I want to be able to see the document. And there's so many AI pop-ups that I have to like click out of every single time just to sign a contract for the library or whatever. Like it's wild to me. But anyway, just to like connect those two pieces together, like that's why I brought up the glasses, is because it does kind of
Yeah.
feel like the same, it's like the same kind of people with the same mindset that are behind all of these technologies. And guess what? If your like image can be used without your consent or even without your knowledge, we know what it's going to get fed into. And one of those things is these fucking tools.
Yeah. I mean, this is the part where we remember that Facebook started as a way to rank women
Yep.
on Harvard's campus.
Yep.
It literally was a ranking people digitally system.
Billionaires are creeps, guys.
Yeah. I have a former boss who was who was at Harvard with Zuck, the worst kind of tech bro. And
Yeah.
he liked to brag about the fact that he was the 13th person on Facebook. And I wanted to be like,
Weird flex.
I
Okay.
never said it because I did need to be employed, but I was like, that's not the flex you think it is. You
Yeah.
were the 13th to get into this rape culture ranking women site and you're bragging
Yeah.
like, but that's
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
culture. So
Yeah. Yeah. Things you don't want to be an early adopter of.
No. Like, and you're
right.
telling people about this, like in public? Like,
I
Yeah.
well, I mean, Meg and I
Yeah.
have both worked at a number of startups, and thank God we've been out of like the office for so long at this point. But like, it just that's the thing. Like, I think how can this be gaining so much traction? Because I think about my own bubble that I have. Queer leftist artists and writers, largely in New York City, with incredibly progressive politics, who a lot of whom have deconstructed like evangelical purity culture and similar kinds of horrific like colonial capitalist white supremacy. But then I'm like, oh, the guys that I used to work with at the startups, they eat this shit for breakfast. Like they love this. Like those it's just so reifying of itself and of what is existing, and it in no way like contributes new thought. I don't know, it's a technology that like doesn't actually contribute anything. And I think it makes me think of something Toni Morrison wrote once about how boring racism is essentially because it never creates new knowledge. It's only the like reification of existing conservative thought. And it's like, yeah, it's not innovative. It's not pushing any boundaries.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know who said this, so I'm sorry I can't attribute it. I just need you to know that this is not my thought. But yeah, I keep seeing the idea of like AI literally is not the future. All it can do is regurgitate the past. Like
yeah,
that's what it does. Like
yeah,
it's not giving you anything new because it literally cannot, because all it's giving you is stuff that's been stolen from other people. And I was like, that's the most damning argument I've ever heard against AI, frankly. Even if you don't somehow care about all the stolen stuff or the massive environmental impact or any of that, like, what's the point of it? Like, just read
Yeah.
a book. If you
yeah.
want past knowledge, read a book.
And read a book, talk about it with other people in person, and maybe think for yourself.
What a
I have B is the resident holding space person, and I am the resident executioner here on the podcast.
I think we
And
need it all. We
we
really
need
need
it
it
all.
all. Uh, yeah, this whole conversation I think is so tied to the mystery process
Hmm.
conversation too, because I think really what we're saying is like all of the things like art and spirituality and creation and craft is really to put you back in touch with yourself and
Yeah.
to bring what is within you forth and to channel, but again, it's through. So it's all
Mhm.
about agency and empowerment
Yeah.
and autonomy, and you are handing all of those things over to the external. And so, one thing that we talk about in therapy spaces is this locus of control. And you want your locus of control to be with inside of you. And if there's external, we want to externalize our problems, right? And like release the things that we truly don't have control over. But we want to be responsible for ourselves. We want to be accountable for ourselves. And we want to be able to make decisions for ourselves to create the life that we want to live. And ultimately, that is ironically the whole American dream thing, too. So I also think it's so fascinating that we're like, actually, no, let's make our external locus of control this machine that's actually pretty shitty at what it does. And it, yeah, to me, it is a true outsourcing of a lot of things that we work very hard to in-source. Be the
Yeah.
source.
No, I think that's such a good
Yeah.
way to put it because I'm like, yeah, I didn't work for this long, this hard to like deconstruct from my evangelical shit and learn how to trust myself and figure out what my intuition even is, just to then turn to a computer and say, what do you think is true? Like,
Yeah.
and trust that over what I have learned to do by myself. Like I that cost me way too much to figure out. I'm not going to surrender it now.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Beautifully said, babe. Yeah. I don't know. I just am like, yeah, it all comes back to rape culture, like Meg said.
It does kind of.
It all comes back to rape
It
culture.
really
It
does.
all comes back to like white supremacist culture because it's just what you were
It's
saying, both of
extractive,
you,
like
about how it just is going to give you the past. It's going to give you a synopsis, but in doing so, it's thought and idea without lineage, without citation. It's
Mhm.
removing the specificity and the knowledge of where you come from and where, like, what the history of those ideas is. And I'm like, that's the project of white supremacy. Like,
Yeah, there are
also,
no roots.
like
Yeah.
that, it's just a big circle. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, maybe moving towards wrapping up this conversation, I'll share a small confession. So, at one point, I started to feel like, am I being wild? Is AI actually great? And what? And so I was working in Canva, and I had one change that I had to make to 75 pages or something crazy like that. And I was like, you know what? This is not generative, but maybe I would like to see if this Canva AI can make this change to all 75 pages so that I don't have to do that by myself. That sounds like what people want out of AI, like shortcuts.
Yeah.
It fucked my shit up so bad, you guys. I had to go back into like version history. I had to find old versions. I had to revert back. I ended up having to
No.
redo work. It sucks. I'm sorry. Like I personally have lost a job and been replaced with AI, and then
Mhm.
I heard that the AI
Fucked
was
up.
not capable of doing what I could do, and
That's fine.
therefore it was a bad process. So now I have my little collection of evidence to support, why I continue to not engage with
Yeah.
it. But
Mhm.
yeah, the one time that I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm being a little too rigid. Am I a fascist? Like, am I an AI fascist right now? Like,
Am I a fascist for not using
I'm
AI is
not using
amazing.
AI. I gotta ask myself some questions, but like,
Totally.
no, absolutely not. It set me back.
Again, what does it add? What does it
Yeah.
add?
Will
Like,
it help me or will it break my entire project? Like,
I know, and my
oh, that sucks.
spirit.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Because now you're like, I'm super demoralized and I still have to do all the work that I was trying to,
Yeah.
streamline.
And I'm
Yeah.
demoralized because I went back on my own values.
Yeah.
I mean,
Terrible.
it's very funny because both B and Meg, both of you are very like, I will question every premise of what I believe at all times in a way that I am not. And so and which is also to my detriment sometimes. I'm like, I'm right about this, and I've always been right, and everyone else is wrong, and that's how it is. And you can ask Meg how it is to be married to me.
It's great. I love it. I know that sounds sarcastic because of how my voice sounds, but I do love it. But also
No,
sometimes there is a detriment to like I will question everything forever. Like at some point you have to decide what you stand for and like what you're fucking doing. So
yeah.
Yeah,
anyway.
there's also like an optional suffering to questioning everything that
100%.
like you're like, oh God, maybe it is me. And
Yeah,
then
like am I
yeah,
the problem?
No.
yeah,
It's a worse version of like an actual note taker summarizing something.
Yeah. It's like
yeah.
if the note taker was drunk and they only got every four words correct, and then they added in what they thought maybe should have happened, or they were like, I left the room for 20 minutes and I just guessed about what they talked about in my absence.
I
Like if it was
know.
good, cool, okay, but like it's not.
But it's not.
It's
Yeah.
not.
I know. I miss Clippy.
Oh,
I
Clippy.
never thought I would miss
Justice for Clippy.
Clippy.
Listen, I miss what Google used to be.
Oh my
And
God.
that
They
feels
had the best product and they literally just destroyed it for no reason.
for
Ugh.
no reason.
I don't even
Yeah.
use Google anymore, and now I still say I'm gonna Google it, and then I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm gonna duck, duck, go it, I guess, which really doesn't sound the same. Really doesn't hit the same way.
Doesn't. I mean, really,
Gonna
the
be
internet's been
I'm
downhill.
gonna bing
since
it. I'm gonna ask Jeeves.
I was just gonna say it's been downhill since Ask Jeeves went away.
Ask Jeeves was the best one. I'm
Ask
sorry.
Jeeves
Ask
was
Jeeves
the
was the best
best.
one.
I loved that site, man.
great.
Like, oh, Ask Jeeves and OG Neopets and fanfiction.net.
What a time to be alive on the internet. That was the golden age of the internet.
It was. I've never wanted a fake omelet more in my life than on Neopet.
Or a rainbow paintbrush that was going to cost you 250,000, whatever the fuck the currency was.
I was
Like,
not Neopets, I'm not gonna lie. I was on E-Bomb's World. I was a different generation.
Oh,
hmm
the ancient text.
the ancient. I was there when the old magic was written. Okay, I knew DOS. I was doing all kinds of shit over there, man.
yeah.
We loaded our games onto a CD-ROM, and you had to have like 8 discs for your King's Quest game. Man, it's the good old days.
I know.
And on that curmudgeonly note,
You know, listen.
No, well, I'm curious. Like, we
Mm-hmm.
always ground ourselves kind of in practical advice.
Mhm.
And so I'm wondering, like, maybe rapid fire. Like, what's
Mhm.
the first thing that comes to mind when you think about maintaining the process of like creativity or witchcraft or spirituality, like, that could be practical in the age of AI?
journaling.
Ooh, yeah.
Journaling doesn't have to be long, doesn't have to look like Bridget Jones's diary or whatever the fuck epistolary you grew up on, Dear America, which to be clear, I love those books. Like, but journaling, pen, paper, sitting with the discomfort, you know, or you can like dictate to yourself on your phone too. Like that can also that, but like, I don't know, like journaling, what puts you back in touch with yourself? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say group study or like collaborative things with people, not with machines, not with robots, but with people. You can find group studies, you can talk to people on Reddit, you can make a virtual group or a meetup or something. But if what you want is for other people to help you learn how to read tarot or for someone else to weigh in and give you insights into what they think the card is, read tarot with other people. It's the best way to learn.
Yeah.
Okay, my practical advice is to support your local library.
Oh,
That's the data.
Yeah.
yes.
It feels also equally bad to be like, go to the government, but it's not the library's fault.
Listen, the government really won with libraries. Like the best thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Love it.
Well,
Yeah.
full circle. Fuck AI to death.
Yeah.
Hudson
Yep.
Williams.
Hudson Williams, 2026. I love it. It's good though, and it's correct. I'm like, this sums up. This is my entire stance on AI.
Yeah.
This is-
And do not comply in advance. Applies to fascism, applies to AI.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And you know what? A
Absolutely.
person wrote that.
Hey.
Writer.
Look at that.
Love you.
Would
You
you
know who
look
would
at
have hated this? Is Toni Morrison. She
Yeah.
would have fucking hated this. And I'm just
Like
like,
she would have had some really banger things to say about it though.
Mary
Like,
Oliver would have hated
oh my
this.
god.
I'm like, you want to disappoint Mary Oliver and Toni Morrison? You want to disappoint their ghosts? Their legacies?
This is punitive, Jeanna.
Like you want to go to Toni Morrison to be mad at you because I don't.
I just feel very confident, okay, that like a
Yeah.
lot of them would be very against this.
No, they 100% would be.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, I am curious to hear from folks. So it can be everything from fuck AI to death to here is how I felt satisfaction after
Mhm.
AI wrote my novel for me. Please get in our comments. Do not be shy. You can also email us at callyourcoven@gmail.com.
Okay.
But yes, I'm glad that we had this conversation. I feel
Me
like
too.
there is no real way to wrap this up because it is just the soup that we are all swimming in now.
It is, yeah.
And we will continue to see how this goes. But for us, we will be back in a couple of weeks with an August forecast. It will be completely made by human beings.
Mhm.
Always is.
Always is. And what a dream. What a gift that
What
is.
a dream.
I'd like to see AI try and replicate our dynamic and our weirdness.
That
Also,
is the thing I didn't get a chance to say, but because it just didn't quite fit. But when you were
yeah.
talking about someone in your program like using ChatGPT to like serve as their client, from my understanding, and I'm not an expert in this technology, nor do I want to be. I'm happy to be wrong here, but my understanding is that AI basically generates the most likely correct thing or the most likely thing that someone would say. And the benefit to being human is that we're all a little bit fucking nuts, which means that we are unpredictable, we are messy, we are imperfect. Like
Contradictory.
a computer can never do this, okay? A computer could never nail this dynamic. A computer could never come up with the crackpot theories we have or the completely out of pocket shit that we say and that other people say. So stay
Be
weird and
weird.
don't use AI is my
Be
summary.
weird.
Yeah. Well, and also, I don't think that AI can have a hand in synchronicity. And I
No.
think that there is something so beautiful about when our messages match
Mhm.
or when our cards mirror our
Mhm.
numbers, mirror something else, when we're having conversations and suddenly we realize we're all using the same language and we don't know how that happened. Like,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
just not part of the equation
No.
with a machine. So,
A machine would avoid it. It would say it was too unlikely, or it would say it was like, oh no, we need to use different language. Like, and it's like,
yeah,
no, we don't actually. This is where the magic is.
Yeah.
yeah.
Fuck tech bros. Fuck Facebook.
Yep.
Fuck billionaires. And fuck their technology that is extractive and horrible.
Yep.
And reclaim the M dash. It's
Yeah.
ours.
Listen, I'm using more M dashes now than before.
M dashes and Oxford commas. I
Oh
am never
God.
giving those up.
I love my Oxford commas. You can pry them from my cold dead hands.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. How do you think the AI knew to use so many M dashes?
I'm saying it's because we
Queer
love
people,
them.
queer
Queer,
writers.
yeah, queer writers out here making sure there's at least one M dash per paragraph. It's me. I'm queer writers.
Some straight person is gonna come at me and be like, "I too use the M dash," and I'll be like,
This is what you get canceled for, is saying that M dashes are queer culture. Yeah.
But that's also on straight people if they listen to this and that's their takeaway. I'm like, yo,
Yeah.
touch grass.
Go outside.
Go outside and touch grass.
"Practical advice." Okay.
Practical advice.
Yeah.
Literally touch grass.
Yeah,
Put your phone down and go outside.
before we hit August, go be with a tree.
Yeah.